books. And
that screen is so small I can't see a thing in it. Maybe we should just sit on the floor. In it. Go back a bit. In it, blood.
Stab himself in
What's
the
up?
back.
Yeah.
Right, are we starting?
Right, so should we start?
Let's
Everybody
go.
ready?
You got
Okay.
the intro, and Mike's got to introduce the video.
Yes, you have. Yeah. So, 3, 2, 1, action.
this is Q&A in the USA. Or, no, not in the USA, in the UK. From the
Cut.
Welcome back to Delboy's Garage.
That's it. You've got to say it like that as well.
Is that me?
That's. I think no. That's a cup of tea.
Oh, excellent.
That's you.
That's so it is me then.
It is.
This one's you, because I just set that one
I
down.
think that might have sugar in, Dave. I think that might be Del's.
Have a blast on that.
No sugar. How's that your tea?
Do your trade.
I have the diabetic tea.
You can have-
5 sugars in it.
Like diabetics, but
Probably gone cold by now.
It is a bit cold by now. Anyway.
Mike's got to do the
Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. As you can see today, we have many idiots in the garage. So we thought, as we have some special guests from the USA, we would have Q&A USA. So in reverse order, we have the very usual and the very normal Mr. Dyson. The very lovely Penny Bissop. The extremely lovely Melly Rench. And this bloke who I think is Mike Rench. So welcome. Today we're going to answer some of your questions. We put them out to patrons because we wanted just a small amount. When we put them out worldwide, we get a million amount, don't we? So we thought we could ask some questions for you. So here we are for some fun and games. Have we got them? These are our 2 compares for today. They're going to ask the questions, and we idiots are going to try and answer some of them.
We'll try.
We'll try.
Yeah.
This is going to be a... We have a cake. We have cakes first.
They are English tea
We're diving into the cake already?
Absolutely. Cake comes before questions.
oh, you've got to keep your energy up.
Yeah, energy levels. These are high energy cakes.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Do we not get a cake?
You're staff though. We get the staff
Up
thing.
in the circle.
Yeah. Up there in the cheap
Thank
seats.
you, Ray.
They'll keep them there now, leave them on.
yeah.
Right.
Difficult
Right.
to ask questions when you've got a cake.
It is, isn't it? Right.
Melly's going to start. With
So here we are with
some of the
question
questions.
1. So you can do the first one.
All right. Jonathan Lambert, what is the best 2-up bike you have ever ridden or been a passenger on? I would like to know how Mike feels about filtering as an American. Sorry, I guess we should maybe do the first
Do the
part.
one.
Okay.
So that first 2-up bike you've ever ridden. That's yours, Phil.
Well, I've never been a passenger on a 2-up. But, I don't know, I haven't really ridden that many that we've both been on before. I've had many Magnas, and the first bike I ever rode was 86 VF 750C Honda Magna. The Super
That's
Magna was
big.
pretty comfortable for you, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And the bike we hired 2 years ago, the DL650 V-Strom, was actually, it was a really nice bike. It had a lot more power than I thought it would have with 2 people up on it, so
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty comfortable.
But it's a cruiser
I
bike.
could recommend it.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So it's like a cruiser bike. Same for me, with the Harley in it. With the Fat Boy, you got the length of the chassis. Gives you space for each other. It's not wrong to have a backrest. You know, on something like a sports bike, it's all wrong to have a backrest.
It looks a bit odd.
You do look a bit weird. So, yeah, I think any two, I like the Fat Boy, we just call it a limo, don't we?
But it's true, isn't it? Anything that is physically big
Yeah.
always has an
Yeah, and
advantage.
for the passenger or the pillion,
Yeah.
you know, having
Yeah.
a backrest, it's one thing that gains a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
For when Mel
So-
was first riding with me,
So,
is
really-
having something to lean back on.
Yeah.
yeah, cruiser bikes, agreed?
Yep, that's
Opinions from
fine.
you? Cool. So cruiser bikes and the second part of that?
And the trick is, Melly, you've got to keep them in check, these lot.
Don't know what
Around
you're talking about. Yeah, we're busy with the cakes.
And the tape.
And the tape. Next part of that
He
question.
says, I would like to know how Mike feels about filtering as an American, where it is illegal almost everywhere, as compared to the UK, where it is legal and even encouraged.
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 Enjoy it.
Well, I've never gotten away with it. It depends on what state you're in. And, you know, we've had that conversation before
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
you know, depending upon where you live in the US, I don't think there's anywhere where it's actually on the books as a law that says you can do it.
Yeah.
What it is that there isn't a law prohibiting it.
Yes.
So in California, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
In Michigan, on the other hand, where we live, it's not the case. It is definitely illegal. And while I've seen people do it, a lot of times you get individuals that want to take the law into their own hands, and they feel like you're getting away with it because they're stuck in traffic and you're
That's
filtering
the
through. So
point.
they may, open the door or something on you.
We've got that a lot. Everyone does. Whenever we do video filtering, people always say, if I did that in the US or in Canada, I'd get people open doors on me and shooting out the window.
People are resentful, aren't they? The fact that you can make progress. And
They think
can't.
you're getting away with something.
Yeah, but they're not as resentful in November when it's pissing down the rain.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're out there doing your pit. What's it called? The polar bear ride.
Yes.
With NT8.
Yeah, they're not so resentful then.
No.
But as far as how I feel about it, I would love to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because when I was visiting friends in Canada, being stuck at the Blue Water Bridge going through customs,
Yeah.
can't filter there either.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 95 degrees out one day. I was ready to fall over from dehydration off the
It's
bike,
too much, isn't it?
where I could have just rode through it. So
Cool. Right, sorry, that one's answered.
That covers that one.
Okay. Alex Balds, given American citizens' right to bear arms, don't mean the wearing of sleeveless shirts.
guess
Or giving guns to bears.
yeah, no arming bears.
No arming bears, yeah. That would be so dangerous.
Says, do you feel more vulnerable riding a motorcycle on American roads than you do over here in the UK?
Vulnerable.
Well, I mean, I don't feel vulnerable for firearms use. I mean, that's actually kind of two different questions.
It is.
What is it? It's a question about riding or a question about firearms ownership.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think there's that outside opinion of America that because, we have the Second Amendment, which I plead the Fifth on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. On the second, I'll take the fifth. Next.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good point.
A lot of it is just, it's really blown out of proportion. I mean, there are more firearms owners now than there has been, ever in our
Right.
country's history. And yet, in most cases, the rates of violent crime has gone down to some degree.
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of other drivers on the road than I would ever be from someone with a firearm.
Absolutely. You're more you're more.
I've never had anybody pull a gun on me, and I've been riding since I was 18 years old. I'm
Yeah.
44 now, so.
You had plenty of people.
But I've had pull out on me.
Sorry, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was so obvious, wasn't it? The other thing as well is, don't get it wrong, we do have the right to bear arms in Great Britain as well. You can get a shotgun certificate, that easy. They have to tell you why you can't have one. Not a firearm certificate, that's different.
Something different.
You have to convince them why you need it. But a shotgun certificate, you can have one of those just on request. You can buy a shotgun and you may transport it from A to B in your car. There's no problem. So you can drive up the road with a shotgun in your car perfectly legally. It doesn't mean you're going to poke it out the window at people.
Yeah.
This is the issue, is that people who are going to pull a gun on another person, they're either somebody who fears for their life or they're a criminal. And I think criminals don't generally have a license today for anything.
No.
They just do what they want.
They're not going to get the gun legally anyhow.
They're not going to do, yeah, absolutely.
And they'll
It's not-
probably nick your bike from you, right?
And your gun. Right, so I like that.
Okay. Dave,
Oh.
Not directly.
Oh, I was just saying. I thought you'd just say there's a question.
Oh no, get all nervous then.
Do you have a Premier League football team? Feel like alienating X% of your viewers?
I don't know anything about
Football.
that.
That's a sport, right?
What kind
I
of
just said
football
answers
is that?
that.
Is that the one with the round ball or the odd shape?
The oblong or the
The
round?
oblong or the oval?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer. I don't know. I don't really know anything about football. I don't know the offside rule, the onside
I
rule.
quite fancy the idea of the old moto ball, with
Yeah.
the bikes and.
That's rollerball. Hands up who remembers rollerball.
Oh, yes.
I can say no matter what country you're in, always root for the home team wherever you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Less kickings afterwards on the way home.
Okay.
That's the best way.
All right. Doug Addis. I was wondering if you would consider a two-smoke bike for a project build.
Two smoke. Two smoke.
Ring a ding ding.
Ding ding ding.
I like the idea of a RD 350 LC Cafe Racer or similar.
Oh, they always a
Well, yeah,
they want
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, a calf racer basically is something fast and you make it lightweight. I mean, the 350 LC is lightweight already
And fast.
and fast.
For what
So,
it is, yeah.
if you're going to do a project on a
Problem
350
with that is-
LC, it would be something cosmetic, I think.
Yeah,
rather than-
I think the problem with them is a bit like the Fizzies, isn't it? The Yamaha FS1Es. They've been bought up now in all their wrecked forms by
Yeah.
all the midlifers
Yeah.
who are restoring them meticulously
Yeah.
nut and bolt and charging
Yeah.
£6,000
Yes,
for them. So
yes.
when you first passed your test, look, we bought you a 350 LC for 300 quid.
Yeah.
It was a proper shed.
Yeah.
And we got it fixed up for next to nothing, and we just rode it around, didn't we? And sold it for about 500. Now you pay £5 grand.
Yeah, easily.
So I think
Easily.
In the States, any CB is outrageously overpriced,
Yeah.
and a lot of people will buy them up, and they'll just go down, the catalog and order up all the bits and
Yeah.
make it look like a cafe racer, and they didn't fix
Yeah.
anything. The forks are still leaking.
Yeah,
It doesn't run right. They
Well,
put
that's the
pod
hipsters,
filters
isn't it?
on it, and it doesn't
Yeah.
idle correctly anymore.
That's
and-
right.
and
Yeah.
So
I don't think I'd do anything. The answer to the question, no, I wouldn't, because I want to build stuff that's different and unique.
Yeah.
I don't want to build stuff that everyone else expects to see built, because it's done to death by people who are
well,
better
you know
at
what the modern cafe racer is a secondhand sport bike from the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because with
You're right.
a decent set of tires
Yeah,
and modern braking materials and changing out the lines and just doing basic maintenance, you'll make the bike perform better than it ever did when it was new.
yeah, totally agree.
And you didn't spend a lot on it, so
No.
Yeah.
you can modify it.
And that is
Like
that
this.
is the point, isn't it? The
Yeah.
whole point of a calf racer is to take something and
Super
make it
light
perform
form.
better,
Yeah,
make it lighter,
exactly.
quicker.
And you can always combine styles. I mean, it's,
You can
the
also
sky's
say
the
that-
limit, right?
Well, that's what a
Yeah.
Street Fighter, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Effectively, a Street Fighter is a calf racer,
It's
isn't
the,
it?
it's the later sort of 90s
Yeah.
incarnation of calf
Yeah,
racer.
If you want to make a hooligan bike out of it, you just change the rear sprocket, right? And burn
Yeah.
tires to the
Yeah.
ground.
That's it, just go and burn tyres down, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Paul Elverstone.
Oh,
Elves,
elf.
Yeah, elf.
Oh, yeah.
Quite simply, who does the best rock music? England or the States?
It's a loaded
Rock
question.
music.
Whoa, that's a bit
Best
subjective.
rock music. Well, what have we got? Who have we got?
Well, as a lad, and probably still to this day, I was a massive Motorhead fan.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
We claim Lemmy.
Yeah, yeah, we had Lemmy, or had Lemmy.
Had Lemmy, yeah.
So,
Finest
but,
British
uh,
headbanger. And there's,
so-
there's loads of other, I mean,
But there
all
is no end of
bands. It depends if you consider bands like Queen and stuff like that as part of the rock music thing.
Well, when
Or
I was a kid, I listened to Motorhead and I listened to Iron Maiden. I think all the
Yeah.
hoods in school listened to
Yeah.
Maiden.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
It's right around where I think Somewhere in Time
White
came out.
Snake, yeah, all that stuff.
But you can't have one without the other.
No.
We were talking about that earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
James Marshall Hendrix
Mm.
yeah,
couldn't get a gig except for playing for Little Richard.
yeah.
And then he comes to the UK and he makes it huge.
Yeah.
An American in the UK, playing British amplifiers with an American guitar, becomes
Yeah.
famous and then goes back to the
That
States.
was left-handed, strong left.
Yeah. And
That's
I
the
mean,
point.
a lot of the really great amps are made in Britain,
Mm.
and a lot of the great guitars are made in America.
They argue, don't they? They argue that.
And then AC/DC throws it all out the window because they're
Australian.
Australian guys.
Well, half of them are, yeah. One of them's a northerner, isn't he?
One of them's in prison.
Steady. Leave it, leave it, leave it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Delboy's Garage does not support any of these statements.
I guess the
We get
consensus
ourselves so sued, yeah. The point is, I don't think the two countries can split. I think they're inextricably linked. When you look at also, most rock music is said to have come from blues.
Yes,
Which
which
is
is
a
nothing
dumb-
to do with Britain at all.
Nothing at all. And, blues music. Did you say something about blues music?
Oh yeah, someone asked a question. Someone called Joe said, "What's your favourite music styles?"
Cool. Definitely.
blues is definitely in there for
Blues,
me.
blues for me.
Blues,
yeah.
rock, metal.
Blues,
I like
yeah.
some country.
That country.
Country.
Love country.
Yeah.
I also like rap country as well, like Georgia Boys. And that's silly, but I love it. It's just man as a
There's a
fish.
YouTube video. I don't remember who did it, but there's a bunch of I don't know if they're really country boys or they're pretending to be. Where they're playing AC/DC's Thunderstruck on banjos
Yes,
and
I've seen
mandolins.
that.
Wonderful.
I've seen that. It is
That's
fantastic.
fun, yeah. Of course, banjos, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what you get when you play a country record backwards?
No, go on.
You get your wife back and your truck back and your song back.
And your house is reissued to you.
Well, your trailer, right?
Yeah. And your dog doesn't bite you. Oh dear, moving right along.
Okay,
Man, what'd you bring her for?
I don't know. She was following me.
Oh dear.
I tagged along. John Malley. We talk about bikers being a brotherhood if we set aside 1%ers. The existence of this brotherhood within mainstream biking is a contentious issue on many forums, but I do feel that in the UK, bikers generally feel and demonstrate a kinship and also acknowledge each other on the road.
Yeah.
There's also the to nod or not to nod debate. Back in the 70s, it was generally a big wave, not a nod. bikes must have become less
That's surfing.
stable.
That's surfing.
Differences here between here and the States?
Yeah, I think so. I think the brotherhood thing, because it's the word given to it all by the outlaw brigade
Yeah.
and the 1%ers, then people don't want to be tarnished without. People often say the brotherhood is a myth because they don't want to be part of the whole outlaw club thing and they want to shun that. But there's still a sense of family. It's just a difference in name. I
Yeah.
certainly believe that, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are certain elements for who they're very much on the outside looking in, and perhaps they don't feel part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But
Well, what do we all have in
there
common?
is- Well, yeah,
Well, what are you all watching for?
yeah.
Yeah.
So don't ask that, then
Exactly.
turn off.
They're looking for recommendations of cake. That's what they're doing.
to me, like, well, you guys do the nod. We do the wave because, you know,
You're on the other
it's
side.
on the other side, right? So you can do it safely without pulling hand off the throttle.
Well, you know
and
why
things
that
like
is though, don't you? Because the makers of motorcycles went and put the throttle in your sword hand.
Yes.
See, that's the
Yeah.
problem. Because originally we drive on the left because the
But you're
Romans-
left-handed.
I am, but my throttle's on the right. Actually, I'll be right.
Yeah, but
with
you can still hold the sword.
You can still hold the sword, and then you'd have to go on the wrong side of the road to
Yeah.
clap them with it.
Yeah.
But that's the point. The Romans drove on the left, didn't they? So your
Yes.
right arm was free to
Yeah.
fight the enemy.
Yeah.
But I don't
And
know
then,
why.
and then the French messed it all up.
Well, what I was going to say
You
is
messed everything
that
up.
Yeah, well, then, yeah. How many times do you hear that? The French
whether
messed
it's
it
the
all up.
wave or the nod or like, you know,
Yeah.
some other clever hand sign that you might get, when it's one biker to another, it's, for me, it's a sign of mutual respect because
Yeah, it
we
is.
know,
Yeah.
we ride because we love it, but we know that there's always an inherent risk. Anyone who tells you
Yeah.
that, oh,
Yeah.
as long as you put enough safety gear and chartreuse on all over the place,
Yeah.
no one will ever hit you and you'll never get hurt. That's not
Yeah.
true. Everyone always takes
What's
a
the
risk.
famous phrase? Certificates make rubbish body armour.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how good you are at riding, we're out there in the elements, all year round, most of us, and taking all the same risks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a
And
sense of camera.
yeah, there is. There's exactly that. You
Yeah.
recognise that.
Yeah,
shared
it's,
same
it's a
risk
mutual
for
respect, and
everybody.
you know, I've always had help when I needed it. I've always stopped and helped people when I see them
Great.
broke down on the bike, and I mean, you know, there's,
What
you
do
don't
we
see
do?
that with a car.
No.
They'll drive
No.
right past you.
No.
Oh, the hood up, you got a problem? Oh, tough.
Well, look, you've got Alexis. I'm going to pull over and help him out.
Yeah.
What do the girls
What do you
think?
think?
What do you think?
I nod at people, but if I see a policeman, I'll give him a big wave.
I do that, yeah. Hello! It freaks him right out.
I actually started doing that. Waving to the police.
I'm still new to riding, so I've still got the
Yeah,
death grip.
White knuckles.
You might get like 2 fingers out of me,
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah, she does that too, but it's a different meaning.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Next
I'm
question.
moving right along.
You got more, moving along.
All right, David Stockford, what do you think about Sons of Anarchy?
Whoa. Sons of Anarchy.
Ooh, we got
Series,
serious real quick.
I can answer that. I'll quick answer and I'll step out of it so you can play. Series 1 to Series 3, brilliant. From then onwards, it went stupid and I stopped watching it. I watched kind of clippets of 7 to see where it all went. Turned into a Greek tragedy for me. Not into it. It's just fantasy. It's like a spaghetti western.
I'm exactly the same. The first series particularly, really enjoyed it. Good piece of entertainment. By the time it got to Series 3, I bailed out. I'd had enough.
I watched it all the way through, and I mean, yeah, I agree. The beginning series were great. I liked them,
Yeah.
and then it can tell that the writers were getting bored.
Yeah.
And I've never met a more stupid group of individuals in my entire life. You're screaming at the TV, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know they're going to get in trouble, and,
Yeah.
and you can see it coming a mile away. It's like, and you think to yourself, people can't be this stupid.
Well, you also look at it, the fact, if you ever watch movies like Snatch and Lock, Stock,
Yeah.
they're running around East London, shooting each other, blowing each other's buildings up, and you never see a police car, ever. You
No.
never see the police car, and it's the same in that. You actually find the police are as corrupt as them, and yet there's DEA, there's FBI all over them, and yet whenever they go and murder 4 people and bury in the woods,
Yeah, it's no
nothing
problem.
happens. There's no problem, we just carry on with that.
Bear them out in the backyard.
Yeah, did one of them sell a tanker full of petrol to the local police to shut them up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really? Honestly,
No.
that's the problem. It became for me a spaghetti western in the end. It was just fantasy. It
And,
wasn't.
yeah,
and you
spoiler
want-
alert, everyone dies in the end.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And there's no I mean, as far as the way it was written, there's no one to root for. I mean, in the beginning of the series, you're rooting for Jax, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have characters that you care about, that you buy into. This, of course, has nothing to do with motorcycling at this point. This
Nothing.
is just
No.
writing a good story that someone wants to watch.
Yeah.
After this 3rd season, you hate everybody. They're all dirtbags. You want
Yeah,
to see them
yeah.
all gone or gone to jail. And then towards the end of the show, you're like, I'm glad you ran into the semi truck. Good
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. Poor driver.
The show is
Spoiler
over.
alert!
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, in fact, poor Indian.
Yeah.
He's wrecked that fantastic Indian for no reason at all. Anyway, there we are. That's what we think. What do you think? Did you watch it?
Too violent, and it doesn't really reflect.
No.
Cashed out.
Normal.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
I've never seen them having cake at their meetings as well.
No,
do you? In their meetings, in their old clubhouse, there was never cake.
Well, that's
so they're
the
not real
problem
bikers,
right
are they?
there.
Real bikers eat cake and drink tea, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Never saw them shivering because it was cold, are they?
Yeah. Well, they are in California.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
A cold day for them is when it's not 65 outside.
Yeah, yeah. God.
Okay, Huff and Puff. I'd like to modify the seat on my bike. Do you foresee ever doing a simple skills episode on upholstery?
Did one.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's how I found your channel.
Cool.
I had.
What made you hang around?
Yeah. I have no idea. There's nothing better on a show.
I'll
on the
stick
TV.
with this shit.
Yeah. Well, I had a fairly rare '88 Honda Super Magna. They didn't build a lot of them worldwide, let alone in the U.S. And good luck finding a seat pan, let alone one that isn't ripped and dry rotted and cracked. But there's a couple. Actually, I think the guy who made the seat cover is from England. And I ordered it on eBay, and I called around to a bunch of places to find out what it was going to cost to get it reupholstered. And in U.S. dollars, it's going to be well over $200. So I just looking through YouTube or Google to find anything. I'm like, it can't be that hard. Then I found his video, so it's out there. You know, there is a search for it
If
function
you
on
need to,
YouTube.
drop me a line. I'll send you a link to it. But if you look in the garage section and playlist, it's there. How to recover a seat. Right.
Cool.
Okay. Patrick O'Hagan. I would like to see a store section where we could purchase Delboy stuff.
Cool. Now, Carlos, my buddy from the Transitions, he keeps telling me about this. There's a system you can set up where you give your design to a company and they print your stuff and they'll send it out for you. So we're going to deal with that at some point. We'll probably deal with some t-shirts and hoodies and maybe some caps and stuff, and you'll just be able to buy them online. But we haven't got the time to get involved in the logistics of that anymore, have we, Ben?
No, I was
It's
going to try and have a look at doing something over Christmas time
Yeah,
when I've got a few days off.
So certainly for the new year, that is definitely coming. There'll be like a swag channel. So you can go on there and just order your swag. There'll be badges and so on, patches and all sorts of stuff, and possibly even other stuff. I don't know yet. See what happens. Cool. And what we might do is tie it up with some Rench Guitar Werks stuff as well. My beautiful hat. Look at my beautiful hat. Like Sammy said.
Sammy so long.
Sammy said. Beautiful.
Thank you, Melly. We've got a few more questions.
All right. Yes, thank you, Melly.
We'll be back again in a
Like
minute.
it too.
Yeah. Glenn, what to clean his greasy wheel rims with? He's got chain wax and road gunk all
His
over.
hand. Using your head doesn't work very well.
Well, I don't know, that's why I have this.
You can use your foot, but your boots get terribly messy. Sorry, mate. Sorry. I find personally, take a whole kitchen roll, an entire kitchen roll, get a big pad of it, soak it with WD-40, and just wipe it off. It really just wipes it. It releases it. It dilutes all the chain wax. Chain wax is the worst, isn't it?
Oh, it's
It's
horrible.
mega sticky. So just like loads of WD-40 on it, or on a cloth, not on the wheel because it sprays onto your disc.
Yeah,
kind of splatters.
Keep it off your discs and off your tyre.
Spray it onto a cloth. Well, the cloth will get instantly black. So just
Yeah.
paper and get a big bin sack and just like wipe in the sack, you know. And you'll do 2 or 3, and you'll get it all off. And when you've done that, just buff it. What do you
I
use?
use I use a lot of Simple Green, and I dilute it down.
Is that a narcotic?
And I,
Simple green.
Simple green.
well, people in the
Does that
US
come
are
in a
gonna
bag?
know.
You have to light it.
Do you have to set fire to it?
No, I mean, it's a cleaning agent, right?
Right.
And I mean, in the U.S., everybody knows what Simple Green is because the chemical itself is biodegradable. You don't want to
Right.
drink it or anything, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny. Oh, this is green, environmentally responsible cleaning agent. Until you clean something that's all greasy and stuff, and that goes down in the
Yeah.
water, and
Exactly.
now
With
you
all
get
the
greasy water.
noxious poisons and stuff.
But it does a good job. Like I use the Bell Ray Super chain loop because it's kind of like a chain wax,
Yeah.
and it will clean as you put it on the chain, but
Yeah.
sometimes it does fling off. I haven't seen anything that doesn't fling off.
Mm.
The WD-40 will always leave that little bit of oily residue on
It
it,
does. Yeah.
but the Simple Green will take it right off. Also, you guys in the UK have those. Mr. Clean's one of the brands, but there are other brands available.
Other brands are
Yeah.
available. There we go.
It's,
To not promote any given brand of
It's
cleaning.
like this white sponge
Right.
kind of material, like a micro cleanser. Boy, that works great on aluminum. I mean, aluminium. I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse
While
you
you're here,
guys.
all five syllables will be pronounced.
I don't want to confuse you guys hearing a garage, right?
There it is! Hey! You worked for 3 days to get to say garage properly. It's garage.
But those Mr. Clean sponges,
Yeah.
bare aluminum, it'll take the oxidation and the
Really?
oil right off of it with one pass.
I've seen those, I think, for white wall tyres on Harleys. Like
Yes.
a white sponge that's impregnated,
Yeah,
so
but
it
you get-
scuffs them up.
You gotta watch it because if you use it on something glossy, it will dull it down because there is an abrasive in there.
Yeah.
But it's
Which
not
is
like using
why
a Scotch-Brite.
When you
know.
get like the rims on the sports bike here, they've got like a gloss, high gloss finish.
Yeah.
That's where the W40 works for me.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, when it's dry brake dust and not sticky stuff like in the summer, you can use Mr. Sheen, you know, like
Yeah.
furniture polish on the cloth again and wipe it around the wheel.
You know what I found it works really well? It's just like one of those cheap car dusters.
Yeah,
You get the
cool.
cheapest one you want. And after you're done riding, just dust the wheels off because it literally is just dust.
It's just brake
That's
dust.
where most of the dirt you're going to have on your rag when you're cleaning it up with
Yeah.
WD-40 comes from. If you dust it first and then clean it, you
Yeah.
have less work.
Yeah. What do you use?
WD-40, yeah, it just
Stuff on it.
It's amazing
works like a
WD-40
charm
is
together.
everywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
It is. I'll tell you what else works.
I wish I'd invented it.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I think there's an alternative, GT85, because that smells nice. It's the same. It works
Yeah,
exactly the
yeah,
same way
it's-
for that purpose.
Yeah.
GT85, the red and black can. It smells really nice. That it's
Yeah.
quite nice stuff.
And it's cheaper.
It is a lot cheaper. Yeah.
Cool. So
And we're cheap, so we do
Oh,
that.
yes. Cheap.
Right, Metal Mickey, Michael Osborne.
All right.
He's been watching the channel for over 4 years and see where it's come. Where do you think the channel will be in 4 years' time? And he also hopes it's not a monster that's overtaken our lives.
Too late.
It's one of them bears with arms.
Well, it has a bit, but we
4 years'
don't
time.
care, do we?
4 years, yeah, I see what double the time. Well, hopefully, if the growth rate continues, well inside that time, we'd like to go to a unit, a proper. I mean, this is just a 10-foot wide space here. If we could double the width of that or treble it and get a big 40 by 40 square. I mean, in America, household domestic garages are just massive compared to this, aren't they?
Yeah, and I mean, you guys are always joking about our garage, but like, you know, by our standards in the U.S., it's tiny. But
Yeah,
then
it's-
again, the country has a lot more space to begin
Yeah,
with.
exactly. Yeah, I think
So
the other
you
side.
don't have as many building restrictions to keep things so small.
That's right. I think for the channel, we would say more space, a bigger space to work from, and maybe more sort of interaction. So that's what we want to be doing, is with the patron side of things, that we would like to get those people more involved, and in relation to come over to the garage to visit, to see what we're doing here, and to just be more involved, more interactive, and do more stuff.
Have a grill out there with
Oh,
sausages on
God,
it.
do you know what I mean? Yeah, get the grill,
Barbecues non-stop.
barbecues.
Not done with those sausages yet, Del.
Yes.
5 more minutes.
No, we'll have a little nap for that. Yeah, 5 minutes. Yes. You said that half an hour ago. What's his name? What's his name?
There'd be a job waiting for him if he wanted to come
Yeah,
over.
definitely. You can do the sausages.
And then he can make the tea.
Alan
I cut the
Mikey's
sausages and the cheese, right?
5 minutes Turkish.
Right, next question. Alan Ingham. He wants to know how to polish his tarnished bandit pipes. You know, they go sort of yellowy,
Brown.
bronzy colour,
Yeah.
brown.
Yeah.
And he's used autosol, but it doesn't work.
I mean, Suzuki's are renowned for this, aren't they? For that, even though they have stainless downpipes, they get a bit. Well, it's more than a tarnish, isn't it? It is a discoloration,
It's a proper,
and you've got to get on it with something abrasive.
It's not often rough, is it? I don't.
No,
It's
no,
quite smooth
no.
to the touch, but it's just gone bronzy.
I mean, back in the day, I mean, Bonnie's were a classic for it. Used to get a really beautiful straw colour, and then
Yeah.
they used to go blue,
And then
which
purple.
is something different
And then
again.
it melted your
yeah,
piston.
yeah.
Because you're like,
And then
it's
you-
running a bit lean.
And then you had to push it home.
Just a bit.
But
There's a
no,
hole in the exhaust pipe that's still in the lead.
but the Suzuki stuff, you can clean them up, but it does need to be something abrasive. It needs to be something like Scotch-Brite with autosol on it, or something of that nature.
I'd go with that, actually.
Wire wool, but that's
Well, autosol is a good polish, but it's a very fine polish. Like any
Yes.
polish has an
Yeah.
abrasive in it, right?
Yeah.
And in the States, what I've used in the past, and like you said, the Scotch-Brite, is I've also used Flitz, which is like autosol. It's kind of a paste, comes like in a toothpaste tube,
Yeah.
but it's got more of an abrasive to
Yeah.
it, right? And it will cut through it eventually, but it's like when I was in the military having to polish brass with brass
Yeah.
soda. It'll look perfect, but
Yeah.
you spend all day on one little
Yeah,
spot just
yeah.
polishing it, and really it's your
I think-
exhaust.
I mean,
if you want to spend that much time on it, you could just pipe wrap the whole system.
Yeah,
right?
you are going to be spending a lot of time on it and a lot of elbow grease.
Well, I
yeah.
would say that if the question, or if the answer to the question is abrasive, go more abrasive, because autosol's not abrasive enough
Yeah,
Probably
to
not,
get at it.
no.
If you took the exhaust off and you lean it on a big polishing wheel,
Yeah.
it will definitely come up.
Yeah.
But what's happening there is more abrasive.
Yeah.
And as simple as that, the soap and the wheel acts as the
Yeah,
abrasive.
yeah.
What I've done in the past with many sets of pipes that are in a bad way is look at how much worse can you make it. Is get some 1000 grit wet and dry and use it wet with just water and then just rub it down along the pipe. So you rub along
Yeah.
the length of the pipe. You will get a scratch on there. You'll get the scuffed finish. Then change to 1200 paper, which is finer, and put soapy water involved, which makes it finer still. Then you can go to your autosol. So you'll take the bronzy colour you see. I'll tell you what, the bandits get it on the collector.
Yeah.
That little heat shield
Yeah.
around the collector, it gets really dark brown. Just get that abrasive in, put the scratches along the pipe, and actually make that satin finish a feature. And once you've got the satin finish, it's so much faster. If you get a bit of discoloration when you're cleaning the bike, grab a Scotch pad, a green Scotch pad, and just up and down the pipe, take all the crap off and put the nice satin
I mean,
finish.
it's always going to be easier to maintain that standard
Yeah,
rather than
a satin finish.
rather than get back to it in the first
Yeah.
place.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it has to, I mean, not all bikes will turn that brown color either. I mean,
No.
they're stainless pipes, right?
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah, but-
got to be a chemical reaction between the heat and
yeah,
the air.
yeah.
That's
It's
causing
when you
that.
look at cutlery doesn't discolour because it's the
No.
highest grade stainless,
Yeah.
isn't it? But
Yeah.
motorcycle pipes, they might be stainless, but it's right down there.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, my SV1000, the downpipes on that are stainless and they are brown, and I just leave them.
Yeah.
So,
You know?
Well, the
Yeah.
my Triumph Speed 4 that I have, the pipes were the same way. They were
Yeah.
really browned, and some of that was because the guy was running an aftermarket exhaust without fueling, so
Yeah.
it was running so hot.
yeah.
But the I just a lot of patience in autosol,
Yeah.
and eventually I got
I
them
think-
looking brand new. And then an hour and a half later, they
Yeah.
looked almost
Yeah.
exactly
Straight
like they did
back. That's the
before I
point.
did anything.
I think that's the question, isn't it?
Again, there is no quick fix. Is
Yeah.
there?
No.
Whatever
Well,
you
there
do,
is, I mean,
it's going to take you time. You've got to invest a little bit of
Well,
time.
if you want a permanent fix, and I mean, if I know in the States there's a company called Jet Hot, and they have like a plasmaized metal coating that they'll spray on it, not a ceramic like a powder coat. It's not that. They have a special gun
Yeah.
that will turn the little fine powdered metal into a plasma, and they can spray it down and give it either a black
But I
or a
think-
chromed finish, and it will never tarnish.
Mm.
But that's
so
expensive.
there's two answers then to your question. You can spray them with heat-proof ceramic engine lacquer, can't you? If you want a nice shiny silver pipe, but that'll always be satin. Or you just go for a satin finish. Just scuff
Yeah.
them up, get
Yeah.
all that corrosion off by scuffing it up with abrasive paper. And once it's done, get it as fine as you can, and you get a nice satin sheen to it, and just redo it. Every time you wash your bike, just scuff them
Yeah,
off again.
yeah. I mean,
that
once,
works for me.
Once you've got it to that standard, yeah. I mean, keep it like that. It'll be
Yeah,
relatively
I mean,
easy to keep.
what takes you 20 minutes with Autosolve to get a little bit clean will be 5 strokes with an abrasive paper, and it'll be back, but it'll be matte, and that's what you need to
Just keep it up with a Scotch Brite if you like a satin finish.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it every now and again.
Right.
I think
Hope that
we're on-
answers
I
your
think we're on
question.
the
I think that was a
big throttle there.
comprehensive, yeah.
Oh, that's a good word. Comprehensive.
Yes, it was. I locked up with my brother, mate.
I was looking out of the corner of my eye, and I thought we were on the verge of getting throttled there for a minute. So
You got to watch
we
Melly.
wrapped that out just
Yeah.
wrapped that up just
Yeah,
good.
she's one to watch.
Next one. What
Dave
we got?
Lightfoot, what are the best and worst rules or laws UK biking versus USA biking?
All of them.
Yeah, all law.
Yeah,
Period. For me, I reckon it's the fact that they do purges. We have laws aplenty here, don't we?
Oh, yes.
And 99% of the time you'll ride around and they will be unimplemented. You can ride past a police car with a number plate that big and nobody cares. You can ride along in front of a traffic car with all manner of different things, a loud exhaust, a black visor, you know.
With your number plate
with
covered
your
up?
plate covered up, yeah, you know, all manner of things. Well, I'm not so sure.
That wasn't a mistake.
But I think that's the point, is you don't get any problems at all, and then suddenly they'll do a purge.
Yeah.
And the police pull you in, they all run you into a great big lay-by, and there's the DVSA officers, and they sit you and they tear your bike apart, issue you a prohibition, and send you home on the bus. You know, I think that sort of attitude is disgusting. Apply the laws all of the time, in a mild-mannered way, you know, in a fair way. Don't just have these purges where people have got no choice. Start shooting fish in a barrel, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the idea of education over legislation every time. I mean,
Yeah.
for the kind of things that
Did you
kids.
read that?
Yeah, I probably did. I read that somewhere. For the kind of stuff that is akin to biking, yeah, as I say, education. You know.
Yeah, I mean, in the States, every state has a slightly different motor vehicle law. I mean, there's a general set of rules that are common across the whole
Is that the
country.
federal laws, isn't it?
Yeah, those are federal. I mean, there are some federal highway laws, but like most of them are governed by the states. And usually when it falls into the realm of motorcycles, the laws are highly dependent upon what state you live in. But in general, they're not that restrictive. They aren't. I mean, we do enjoy quite a bit of freedom when it comes to motorcycles. Like I was telling you before, all you need is a headlight and a tail light.
That's
And that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You don't even need a stoplight. It just has to be there to show the back of the bike.
Okay.
And you can use hand signals in Michigan.
When are we
And
going?
it's perfectly legal.
Can we go and live there?
And even down to things like open exhaust.
Yeah.
It's the community at that point. There's no state law against, in our state, about how loud the exhaust can be.
Yeah.
But I can go, like I was telling you, I pulled the baffle out of the speed four.
Yeah.
I was driving around my town, it was perfectly fine. I got to the, as you guys call it, the posh neighborhood, and I immediately got pulled over because it's a good thing I had the baffle under the seat too, because I put it right back in. It saved me getting a
I can't
ticket.
remember, when was the
But,
last time we got pulled?
but it wasn't a law against the motorcycle, it was just a general noise ordinance, and it was loud enough I got the cops' attention when I rode
Yeah.
past, you know.
I don't remember.
Last time I got pulled.
The last time
Now
we got pulled.
that's-
Actually,
why
police
isn't
car
that- why
behind
isn't
you.
that a question?
Lights on, yeah.
When was the last time you
when
got
was the-
arrested,
So the
Dave?
last time we got pulled was then. That was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Actually, I got pulled over after I got the scout.
Right.
Because the officer it was an actual Detroit police
I
officer.
wanted to look at the scout.
Yeah, I wanted to look at the bike, so he pulled
Have
me
you had
over.
that?
Oh
Years
yes,
ago.
I've had that. Yeah. Well,
Well,
in my younger days, I used to ride a lot of old classic British stuff,
Yeah.
and you were forever getting pulled over
Yeah.
then for all because they
Want
wanted
to
to
have a look
look.
at it, yeah.
But as far as actually pulled over for the purposes of a word in my ear, do you know, I can't remember.
No, I think the last time I can remember, do you remember we were at the roundabout over at Holton Heath?
Oh, yes.
We were-
got
there's a-
told off.
There's a roundabout at Holton Heath, and it's kind of at the end of an industrial estate. So you've got all this long road, and the trucks obviously come in one way, but they have to go out the other way. So for the trucks to turn round, they put a roundabout in, but with one road on, one road off.
Yeah.
So it's a lollipop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a big circle. And of course, naturally, all the bikes go up there and they go around left-handed. So you can get your left-hand tyre over and you can have
Yeah.
loads of fun.
Yeah.
And at this point, we all got a bit carried away. Jerry was with us, wasn't he? And we were going around left-handed and he's going around right-handed. So we're crossing shoulder to shoulder as we're going
It
round.
was like the Red Arrows.
It was amazing. And then more and more people went on and it was like the carousel. And then suddenly, because everyone was really relaxing into it, this fucking police car turns up. Woo! It just stops. Oh shit.
That sounds a lot like the wheelie spot from, what's his name in Canada?
Lee Stewart.
Yeah, Lee Stewart.
Yeah, that's the thing. They just turned up. Mind you, he was great, wasn't he? The guy was really cool. He just really. We were all of us probably twice his age, weren't we? He was only about 12, you know, average policeman. And he said, in his best "I'm a teacher and you're going to listen to me, children" attitude, he said, "This is not a playground. I expect you to be gone in a few minutes." But everybody, twice his age, went, "Yes, sir, no problem, sir."
Start looking at your shoes.
Yes, looking at his shoe. My shoes, yeah.
And do you know what was funny? What was even funnier?
She was filming it.
No, I was filming it.
She was filming it. So get the camera away. She's stuck in a pocket.
A couple of months ago, we had to contact the police about another issue, like a crime issue, and he turned up the copper and he said, "I know you."
And this must have been
For
10
all
years.
the wrong reason.
I know, yeah. It was like 8 years later and all. Oh my
He said,
God.
"I remember that day on that roundabout."
Policeman's, what was it, policeman's memory or something, he said, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, you got a chance to enrich his life.
Yeah, I did, yeah, he made me feel bad that night. God.
Oh,
I don't
right.
even, that wasn't even a question. Moving right along.
Next
What we got?
Tim Lindgren,
Tim, hi
how
Tim.
have your motorcycle taste changed over the years?
Motorcycle taste change.
Mine haven't changed at all.
No.
Yeah. Mine either.
No, I'm still fundamentally. I appreciate the same types of bike I did 30 odd years ago.
Yeah. I must admit, I like the way that now, for the general masses, that I mean, it's got to be careful not to be arrogant this, but for the general masses who choose not to fix their bikes, who choose not to enhance them, who choose not to improve them, you've got bikes that don't need improving.
Yeah.
Bloke I used to work with, a colleague, actually in a company we just left, he bought an MT-09. He knew nothing whatsoever about bikes at all. He was happy to take it to the dealer to do everything, and he just rode it.
Yeah.
And it's that facility.
Which is quite liberating for
Well,
someone
absolutely.
that doesn't have the ability or the
Yeah.
want.
No,
to-
but it
to do.
does so much for biking because it means people who haven't got the ability. Because once upon a time, you know, like in our dad's day,
Yeah.
if you didn't know how to fix a bike, you didn't own one.
Yeah, you had to know how to adjust a carburetor. It wouldn't start the next
Right,
day.
Yeah.
exactly right. And even to operate the bike, even
Yeah.
to start it, you know, a kickstart an old Triumph back in the day. You know, so I think what I love about bikes now is that they're universal for everybody. And I
Yeah.
must admit now, switch over to you on this. I mean, what's it like? A modern bike today must be so much easier to ride when you look at what they used to be like. You know, you imagine kickstarting an old shovelhead or something. I don't think it would happen easily. I don't think I could actually.
Mel would go to kick it and it would throw her right back.
No. What do you reckon, Peter?
I do like the electric start button.
Yeah.
I've had older bikes, old heavy bikes, and they're not much fun, are they really?
No.
Romantic idea, but not much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I think the super efficiency of bikes. I don't think
Yeah. But from a styling point of view,
for me, yeah.
So the kind of stuff that draws me in is the same as it, this kind of stuff that drew me in all those years ago.
I think that you have to have more than one bike, don't you now?
Oh, it
You
should be the
must.
law. It should be the law.
Well, for me, I love riding on a fat boy. I love
Yeah.
just going for a cruise on the fat
Yeah.
boy. But I cannot wait to go and rag the pants off that thing when it's
Yeah.
finished. Just a fast street fighter. Because I think both of those pastimes are part of biking.
Yeah.
So for me, I love going fast. I'd love to do a track day again. I haven't had the time for years. And in that sense, I think it hasn't changed. It's probably just got a bit
and
wider.
that kind of brings you back into sort of why you're into biking in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a mode of transport.
It's
is it?
not, is it?
It's far broader than that.
Mine actually, because of how many Magnas I've owned, I like.
A magnitude of them.
Yeah, magnitude is Magnas.
Sorry, I've just got ice cream in my head now.
No.
Sorry.
But I like
cup's
riding
broken.
cruisers, but I like having the more powerful, like what you would call
Yeah.
muscle cruiser,
Yeah.
right?
My cup's broken.
And
Timing is evaporated.
but I still have one sport bike. I have the Speed
Yeah.
4,
Yeah, you do.
and that was just. I bought it on a lark. I was looking for something else.
Yeah.
I saw it in a Craigslist ad. I was like, well, I've never seen one of those before.
Speed 4.
Yeah, and in the U.S., Triumphs aren't nearly as common as they are here, obviously. And a Speed 4 certainly, because I don't think it's that common. Even
They're not common
They're
here.
not common here. No.
They're not common
And
here.
a
But-
great
but it-
rugged bike.
You know
Yeah,
who had
in-
one?
in
You
the
know
motor.
You know who made the bike famous? Prince William.
Yes, of course.
Because
yes.
he passed his test when he was about 19, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he went straight out and bought a Speed 4. That was his first
I
one.
have the tangerine orange one.
Yeah.
It is exactly the
Ginger
same
one.
shade as the Michigan
Ginger
Department
one.
of Transportation.
It's
Like, it's MDOT orange is what it is.
No.
I pulled right up beside an MDOT truck and he was like, he gave me the thumbs up because it was the
Bro.
same color.
Yeah. Right, bro. What do you do?
I never thought in a million years I'd own a sport bike, and then I bought that one. Now, because I've had back surgery years and years ago, I can't ride comfortably long distances, but it's certainly fun to
You know
go out
something
and
about
tear
that,
it
don't
up.
you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
There's the other thing. When
It's
we
very
see...
engaging. Speed is engaging, isn't it? And
It is.
I'm not done with it, certainly.
No, for sure not. No. Well, when we rode to Yorkshire the week, it was a 5.5 hour ride.
Fantastic.
I've got my fat boy with all the
Yeah.
luggage piled up behind
Yeah.
me to lean on. I'm just sat there in an armchair chilling back. I think you're having a little bit of a harder time on a sporty bike.
Well, it got there all right.
You got there, all right? I think you're
At
right.
least I had enough bungees, eh?
We know someone who went to a camping event with one bungee. his gear was on the bike going, arr, arr, arr. You can't go camping with one bungee. Mind you, it was 8 feet long, wasn't it?
Apparently you can.
Yeah. He wasn't even bothered, was he? We're talking about you, Cotty. You know
Yeah,
it's
you know who you are.
You know who you are. Mr. One Bungee, we'll have to call him. Cotty. Yeah, one bungee. Right.
Right.
Who's that? Where's he
Now
come
how
from?
back to Melly.
Right.
Okay. Scott Simmers. Hi, Scott.
Oh, we know who that
Yeah,
is.
you know him.
Yes,
Y'all know him.
Says,
your buddy from the Idiot Collective, East Coast.
rock on.
Rock on.
Big up the East Coast massive, innit?
We know Mike is taken to the British vernacular. I'd like to hear his best British
I
accent.
did at the beginning, didn't I?
And he says you can't chicken out.
You have to do that.
Well, I already butchered
What should we
aluminium and
make him say?
I butchered aluminium and I butchered garage now.
It's
Garage.
getting there, it's getting
Yeah,
there.
it's got an E in there somewhere,
Yeah.
isn't it? Garage. It's
There is?
garage, isn't it? It's garage. Garage?
It might be easy to do a Welsh accent.
It's just what, isn't it, at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get punched now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's obviously Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's going to punch us. Sorry, mate.
He's probably outside the door now.
Yes.
I think
It's chainmail.
it's got to say, it's about time for a cup of tea.
That's it. If you can say
Well,
that
when
right,
I
then
say it's about time for a cuppa, right?
it's not the full
Still said it
statement.
with an American accent,
That's
Mike.
that was. You have to do it. You can't chicken out, apparently.
I
Scott
just
says
said
so.
it, but I don't know how to make it sound more British.
Do us a line.
I'm not
from,
British.
do us a line from Snatch. What should we have? That's easy.
This is a family show, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got to pick it carefully.
So, yeah, careful where you go.
A
with
line
that.
from Lockstock. Let's have a look. If you, we'll try this
Like
one.
Dags?
Try this one. Yeah. No, that's not British. Do you like Dags?
Well, from the
You like
Sweeney,
Dags?
perhaps.
Yeah. No. What about? If you don't get me them guns, you'll be counting the fingers you haven't got.
Well, that's not from Lock.
That's from Lockstock.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the big man. So if you don't
I
get me
can't do
them
that
guns,
one.
so if you don't get me them guns, you'll be
It's
counting
damn guns.
them guns.
You don't get me damn guns.
Them guns. You'll be counting
You'll
the
be counting the
fingers.
figures you haven't got.
There's no H. There's no H, is there? You haven't got it. So try again.
I need speech therapy on this.
Oh,
Or just therapy.
Therapy, yes, I definitely
So just
do.
one more time. If you don't get me them guns, you'll be counting the fingers that you haven't got.
But you just said it with an H. You said I couldn't say it with an H.
Haven't. I said haven't.
Haven't.
Haven't. Haven't.
Haven't.
Haven't. A-A-V-N-T.
Like Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Yeah. Where's that at? Is it by Hampshire?
oh, poor Mike.
It's poor Mike, that's what we're up about. So there you go, he failed miserably, Scott. So we look forward to when you come over, you can do better.
Yeah.
Right, who's next? Is that it? How many have we got left? Are we
Oh,
halfway?
no, well, we've got a few left. We had some great questions, thank
We
you.
did, we've had some so far, haven't we? How many minutes is this?
I have no
I have
idea.
no idea. Let's
We
keep
haven't-
going.
Someone said cake and we forgot it. Time.
Yeah.
So-
Everything else just sort of
So it's
drifts
based-
away.
Singularity happens.
I can't believe they're still there.
Well, because we're watching them, because I think my cup's broken.
Do
There's
we stop
nothing
for
in it.
tea?
I think we need to stop for tea.
Stop
don't
for
you?
tea,
I think we're
definitely.
going to just take a break for a couple of minutes while we make more tea to inspire us a little bit more. We'll wet the whistles, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so join us in a minute when we come back with more Delboy's Garage Stupidness. Sorry, I need a cup for that. I was miming then.
I'm doing a bit of that promotion. that we don't do.
You ready?